Yo, 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 what's going on? It's another episode of the Jawn podcast. I'm
Yeah,
one of your hosts, P.
it's your boy Mills.
What's going on, man?
Man, tired, bro. A lot of running around today.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about you?
I've been running around all week. So for work, this week has been mad stupid
What you mean?
because um football starts to
Oh
get
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
get their snacks and stuff at night. So they don't eat every day until 7:45.
That's crazy.
But that's all we got going on right now.
So what they do during the day?
Diner services,
Oh, just a regular. Ooh.
regular cafeteria.
Hey, yo, listen. When I was,
But when we do the stuff for them, we don't gotta come into work until 3, 4, maybe 5 o'clock because that's all we're doing.
that sound like a waste of time,
So
but I
we'll,
get it.
we'll be there for like 2, 3 hours.
I get it. I would hate like when I was in that space. I hated it. It would be like maybe 30 minutes until close.
Mm-hmm.
Football team, and they want everything.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Like the way they have that structured, like the way that's set up. Like when you were in that space, they didn't have it where they ate separately. Like y'all just did stuff for them.
Game day, yeah.
Okay.
But just as far as like a regular, like, nah, they would just come in. But they came in order of importance. So like special teams would come in first, early,
Okay.
defense, and then
Okay.
offense always came in last.
Okay. So at least they spread it out. Like you ain't get hit all at once.
Yeah, I'd see it was based on level of importance because the ones who needed to eat, they were coming in within that last hour. Special
Right.
teams, kickers, they all came in like as soon as we opened early.
Right. Because they ain't need them at practice.
Yeah, it's like, man.
I remember when I was in college, feels like eons ago. This was 2004,
Mhm.
almost 20 years ago. And we'd be in the cafeteria, and the way our cafeteria was structured, I remember like it was yesterday. They had remodeled it like right after I had got there, and
Mhm.
you
Swiping.
swipe in, you walk right in. So it was a long, well, not one long table, but it was like tables up against the back wall. If you walk
Mhm.
straight back,
Yeah.
and the football team occupied that entire wall from end to end.
I mean, it makes
And
sense.
it was funny because that's where everybody knew that's where they sat. So at dinner time, don't be the guy that want to be cute and sit over there where they sit because
Get your ass
they
up.
will gladly move your shit and you.
That's petty. I mean, they could.
Yeah, but they sat over there. Basketball team, we had our area where we sat. You know, all the teams had their areas where they sat, and then regular students, you just filled up the space.
Right. I mean, that's how it always is, though.
Yeah, so
So,
you know, it is what it is. But you know, it's a job. So what you gonna do?
yeah.
But what you got for the what you got for the
Tails,
people this week for tails? Yeah.
I got a feel good one, man.
All right.
I figured, it's nice outside, nice weather. I bring a feel good story to the pod. So, I'm at this hotel. Shout out to my man Cal, too. This was this was like August, but I scheduled my vacation like the last week of August because my little brother was getting married.
Okay.
Shout out to Brock. And so I was like, don't call me. I'm unavailable this whole week. Maybe the end of July, I got word we got a baby shower the same day as my brother's wedding. So
But you had
I'm
already scheduled off.
listen.
Okay.
So I'm like, give me all the details. I'll make sure everything ready to go before I go out. My man, he's like, I'm like, you sure you're gonna be all right? He's like, man, I got it. The day I was going on vacation, he like, bro, I don't know. I'm like, you got it. Like I got you going up until this point. Like you good.
Okay.
The day my brother's wedding, I get a call at 7 a.m. Yo, such and such called out for the night. Looked at my phone. I was like, that's their problem. I ain't got nothing to do with that. 2 hours later, they call me again. What you want us to do? I'm listening. We sitting here trying to get my brother ready. So, um, My man, he texts me he like, I'm nervous, blah 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 blah. I just text him back, you got it, you good. Just everybody's VIP, so just just do your regular thing. Fast forward, I come back off of vacation. He goes, yo, everything went perfect. Why didn't you tell me that the baby shower was for young Chris from the Young Guns? I was like, because you would have been even more nervous had I told you who it was for.
Right.
So he was like, nah, I smoked it. He came in the kitchen, dapped me up. We took pictures and everything. So I was like, yeah, bro, everybody's VIP. You never know who you serving. So there you go.
That's what's
keep,
up.
Keep that momentum going to for the rest of your career. So there you go. That's my tales for this week.
When the last time you spoke to this person?
Probably like a year ago.
Okay. How's he doing?
He off it.
Uh-huh.
He off it. He don't do the cook thing no more.
Are you done with it?
Yeah.
Post pandemic, and I'm finished.
Yeah. He was chilling.
Okay. I got you,
buddy.
I got you.
What you got?
So, mine takes me back to my time at the hotel as well, and it's also kind of feel good. So, AI was staying there. He was having his annual whatever it is that he has, and he was having a huge party, but he was staying there I think for like the week. So day of the event, food and everything was going out, banquet staff they're on point, we're on point, everything is perfect, like, and I have it in my mind that things are going too well. Like, it's like something is bound to happen.
I hate that. Yeah.
And food wise, for the event, nothing happened. Something happened staff wise, but it wasn't anything like detrimental or anything like that. Okay. It was I want to say it was a experience as far as being around A-list type people for the first time.
Right.
So, how it goes at the hotel. Banquet catering staff, waiters, bartenders, they're in the mix because they have to be.
Yeah.
Back of the house people,
mind our own business.
Yeah, exactly. So, everything was cool, and I was still relatively new there. So, I said, nah, I ain't staying back here.
Oh, my
God. Nothing bad happened.
Okay.
It's just, I didn't, again, like I said, I was new. I didn't understand why I couldn't be in the mix. I didn't understand it. So the way I did it was, even though I had a chef jacket on, whatever the case may be, I played it off like I was supposed to be out there. And I grabbed a little, bussing Jawn. I'm walking tray. I'm walking around there. I'm picking up drinks and anything else, whatever the case may be. Take it in the back. That way, if somebody saw me out there, they said, "Well, at least he's out there doing something."
Right.
Because there's nothing to do in the back.
You just nosy, that's all.
I ended up meeting hella people that night.
Right. Anybody a note?
I met Snoop.
Okay.
Larry Hughes. Clifton Powell. Pinky. Yeah. Jadakiss.
Damn, they had everybody.
Of course, AI. It was his event, and there was a couple other people there whose names escape me right now. But one of my coworkers, and this is when I got out of there. That's when I skedaddled because I knew it was gonna go left. One of my coworkers, he's in there. He's geeking. He's rapping Jadakiss head off. He trying to rap for him and all this other jazz. And I got out of there. It was time to go anyway. So I clocked out. I went home. I came back the next day. Came to work to hear homeboy got fired.
Being up in people's faces, probably.
Yeah.
See?
All up in the mix. But the thing was, he didn't know how to play it all. Like, I played it. Like, bro, if you want to be somewhere you ain't supposed to be, at least play it in a way where as though you kind of look like you belong. You was just, oh my God, like, you my
Jada, I got this 16. Listen, I'm fired.
Yo, it was crazy. And then one one of my coworkers recorded it on his phone and
Oh
showed
man.
it to me the next day. Hysterical.
Like
Like
record of him rapping, or just being being in the
recorded
way.
him like acting a fool.
See, man.
Like, listen, if embarrassing was a person and you looked up in the dictionary, his face would have been next to the word.
And then
But you know,
ruin it for everybody else.
we'll ruin it for everybody else like him.
For sure.
You know, I learned very, very fast how to adapt.
Yeah.
So that's my tales. But to this day, it's funny. If I can find those pictures, I'm gonna find the pictures. I'm gonna show you.
I got you. That's a bet. So what you got for the topic for this week?
So this week I was thinking about some of the things as far as our job goes. If you're
Mhm.
especially if you're thinking about getting into the food service industry
Right.
in any capacity, just some of the and I forgot the exact word I used when I told you, but just some of the downsides, for a lack of a better way of saying it, that people may be unaware of before they think about getting into this space.
Okay.
And the one thing that really stuck out to me when I was thinking about this topic
Mm-hmm.
is depending on where you work, and what I mean by that is whether you work at a hotel, restaurant, chain restaurant, fine dining establishment, diner, because there's so many different areas.
Yeah.
But depending on where you work and what you do, the disparity between the pay rates.
Is from bottom to top, not even just pay rates, just access to staffing, food, pay rate, of course, just a multitude of things. Like it's just so different. But the one thing I can say that's across the board that affects the whole entire thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm only saying this because we damn near had a heat wave. Global warming is real, and it is for sure affecting the food and beverage industry
Oh, big time.
because
Everywhere.
everywhere, yeah. So, like during, like hot summer months, fresh fruit is a big thing. Certain proteins, but you also got to remember, like if you think back to yesteryear, years and millions of years ago, you ate for the season. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be having watermelon in January.
Right.
So with global warming, I'm noticing like produce, it's growing and just being sent out at such a rapid rate. It's not even not being able to mature.
Right. Right.
So like something inconsistent. 3 weeks ago, ordered basil. The basil leaf was like this big.
Mm.
Got it 3 days ago. It was this big. So they're trying to keep up with, how many
Supply and
restaurants.
demand.
Yeah, supply and demand. They really can't. And then product quality gets lower. So it's just a multitude of things. But I'm for sure like, definitely the weather is playing an effect for sure.
No, absolutely. I had ordered some baby zucchinis
Mm-hmm.
and some patty pans
Yeah, I know what you
not too long ago, and when they came in, they were 2 days away from having to be tossed out. Luckily, I had to use them the same day they came in.
Okay.
But the extra that I held on to, they all went in compost.
Yeah, I mean you can't. I mean, just from I don't think it. I maybe worked at one place that had patty pans. It's not a common thing
No,
unless
it's not
like
common.
that's your wheelhouse and that's what you serve and like
Yeah, no, it's just it's a filler.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it makes your vegetable medley look amazing
yeah,
if you do it right.
right. So,
But it was because in our line of work, I think people only see or they only allow themselves to see what social media shows them.
as
far as the glitz and the glamour and the people that made it through the pandemic and the traveling chefs and the people that do all the home videos that have a million followers and they pop in and do all this other stuff. And listen, that's great. They put the work in, they were consistent,
for
they
sure.
did what they had to do to get to where they are.
They bought,
But
but that's another
people
thing.
that are getting into it is not always going to be like that. Your road could be totally different. You might even be on their road. And then the people that want to get into the fine dining establishments and so on and so forth, just like we alluded to a couple weeks ago, it's not even the same as it was before.
It's not. It's not the same, but there's still people who are of the elk
Right.
that are still within it. Like that, we always talk about this. That old school chef and yell at you, break plates, like all that's gone. But there's still pockets of people that still are that way, still in the industry. And yeah, it's cool seeing the shows, Kitchen Nightmare, All America's Top Chef, all that stuff. Like all that stuff is all well and good, but being in it,
Right.
I recommend everybody stage anywhere just to see like how you can adapt to it. Because a stage is pretty much like a working interview. Like they'll either give you like a box of stuff and tell you to make something, or they just have you work with their staff that's already on hand.
Okay.
That's how you know if it's for you or not. Because I've done maybe about 5 stages, all of them different.
Okay.
And then as much as it is for the company to figure out if you could fit there, it's for yourself too to figure out if you want to do this or not.
Right.
Like fresh out of me interning, I did a stage at 5 Star.
Okay.
And I was like, this ain't the place for me. Because I'm a vet now. I know what I'm doing, but we don't care about your creativity. We don't care about your ideas. Can you do the job that's asked of you? And if you can't, or you can't follow directions, then we don't need you here. A lot of the industry is built on consistency. Can you season this thing the same way exactly every single time? A lot of people can't. And then you got a lot of Indians that think they're chiefs, where that ain't flying either, because at a certain point you could taste something and know something's wrong.
Right.
And it'd be like, that's not right. Even now, my senses are so like tuned, I could smell if it's too much salt in something or not.
Okay.
So, the glitz and glamour is cool, but it's hard work. Like, my pop is a welder by trade. He was like, man, I wouldn't do what you do. And I'd be like, man, I wouldn't do what you do. Like, bro, it's just completely different. I told my pop this joke the other day. He was like, he asked me to help him do something, rewire something. I was like, listen, I play with fire. I don't play with electricity, yo. Like, that's something completely different. So,
now listen, when you write, you write, and I think a lot of people in this space, just like you alluded to, they won't know what's right or wrong for them until they put themselves in a situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like for me, just stereotypical, starting at the bottom, working your way up. Every different level that I reached, it was a little trepidation in the beginning. Like, I don't know if I want to do this, because I had just got so comfortable in my space that I said, I want to master this and just do this for a while. But then moving up and then going from washing to actually cooking, and then you're doing this and you're doing that, and then all right, now I mastered this. Now you got me fooling with the money, and it's like, do you really want me to be doing this? All right.
Yo, listen. I didn't, as far as the cooking, I didn't have any trepidation with that. Just for me, just because I'm like, I'm on it. I'm already like doing my own independent research.
Right.
When it got to the money aspect, and I started to realize like the food and beverage industry is bullshit. How well it's capitalism at the end
Oh
of the
yeah,
day. Yeah, yeah.
at
So
its finest.
yeah, but then once I started incorporating the mental aspect from the being actually in it to my regular life, oh, it's completely different. I started shopping. I treated wherever I work like my supermarket. Like as long as we had like a micro source system I could charge it. I'm not paying like here in Philly we got the sugar tax. I'm not paying $6 for a gallon of juice. But what I will do is pay $18 for the case at work.
And then just right.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I
Once
listen.
you figure it out.
Oh yeah, listen.
Because when I made it to the top at the spot and I was running the kitchen, the nursing home.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah,
And I was running the kitchen and I'm doing all the ordering and this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. Bruh.
Hands got sticky.
Listen, let me tell you something. And you got to be smart about it because it wasn't all the time. Sure. But when it happened, pull around to the back, pull the car up on the loading dock. Bro, I'm talking about it was so trifling towards the end. I had a hand cart.
Oh my God.
That I was wheeling out onto the joint, loading up, and then bouncing because my numbers were always where they were supposed to be. And just how you had alluded to before that one time where you said, listen, there's X amount of money that's still in your budget that you still have to spend. Mm-hmm. And you spent all of it up until like maybe like 5 cents. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I had to do. So it was like, okay, you know what? Now it's to the point where I'm just bulking up. I'm ordering extra cases of emergency water. I'm ordering extra cases of this, extra cases of this. Nothing perishable because we're not going to use it fast enough. But anything shelf stable, just bulking up, spend it. We're good. All right. Nobody knows what's in here. So let me just help myself. And then we can tackle the rest.
Yeah, like I had a GM. He was the executive chef, then he got promoted, so I took his spot. So it was like every once in a while he'd catch me, but it would be like it'd just be like, oh come on, chef. I'm like, listen, like I'm paying for it. I'm just paying at the prices we pay. But he's like, yeah, but you keep doing this, and he's like, it's sending the wrong message to your staff. I'm like, I be funding their stuff too. They got to do the same exact thing I do.
Right.
Like, and then, but he caught on after a while because I was like really, really slick. Like, all right, if we got a party that got salmon, just buy them whole, break them down. The little pieces we can't use because if it's salmon, we only using the center cuts.
Right.
I'm taking the tails, or we just use them as a special or whatever. But it's like it's trash anyway, quote unquote.
Right.
So like the kitchen where I'm at now, I just hate they be like anything extra, throw it away.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For what though? What's the reasoning behind it?
I don't know.
And I asked that because at the hotel, anything extra that we had that we didn't use or couldn't use, their motto was the same. And they wanted us to throw everything away because in yesteryear, they actually would give food away, especially like to the homeless, to shelters and stuff like that.
That I understand.
And they got sued.
That makes perfect sense. I'm just talking about the staff.
No, they would let us take whatever.
Oh,
Yeah. It was open season for the staff. Outside of the staff, if we weren't eating it, it went in the trash.
Yeah. Like I had dough, I had a pound left. I'm like, of course the chef was like, throw it away. I'm like, I'm using this for my lunch. He was like, just throw it away, just make something, whatever you want. And I was like, that don't make no sense. But I'm not the chef here, so yes, chef, her chef.
Wait, he said either make something or throw it away?
Make something else.
That y'all could use for work.
Right.
Not something for yourself. Make something for work, and if you can't make something for work, then throw it away.
Yeah, pretty much. Stupid. I listen. I'm not the chef.
Right.
No, I would be like that. I don't care. I don't want to see it. But then you also, I think with that too, it kind of gets a little dicey. And it, just to touch on like the pay rate thing, because starting out, you don't make much.
No,
I
absolutely
can
not.
assure you, how much did I make? When we worked at the spot together, I made more there than my first cooking job.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you
I'm dead
serious?
serious. I'm dead serious. Yo, I think I was making at 15, 16, I was making 11.50 something. Right?
Okay.
My first cooking job, I was making 10.75.
Really? When I first got hired at the spot, I'll never forget this. When I first got hired there, I was making $11.32 an hour.
Mm.
And at that time, in my mind, I
He's
was a
balling.
millionaire
He's
because
balling.
that was the most money that I had ever made in my life at once.
For sure.
I said $11.32, and this was 2005. I was 20 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yo, like later for this school shit, I'm about to get paid. Yo, I said it's up.
Yo, listen. Oh, I feel you though, cause like once I got, I'll tell this this number exactly. When I got promoted to sous, they gave me the paper with all the information, like what's expected of me, how many hours or whatever. I was like, cool. My salary was $32,000 a year, and I was like, ooh,
All right,
I'm balling.
right,
Until you think about the more you work, the less you make.
yeah,
The only good thing about it for 5 to 6 months before they caught on, I was getting hourly. So they were paying me whatever the hourly rate for 32 grand a year. They were paying me that instead of just paying me a flat.
flat fee.
So I was clocking overtime, bro. I think in 1 month I was on a mission. This had to have been just after Christmas because I bought the Xbox One and then PS4. No, this is
The
years ago.
Xbox One. Okay, yeah, this was
Yeah,
years
this is
ago.
years ago.
This was years ago.
So I'm sorry, 360 and a PS3 I bought
Okay.
in one check and still had
Oh,
bill money left over because I was like, yo, I gotta go get this right now. I was grinding.
I got you.
But looking back now, so granted, yeah, in the beginning, as far as pay rate and what's inconsistent, if you work in mom and pop, you're not making much. If you work in hotels, it's a little better. Restaurants, it could be for free or depending on your level,
Right, right.
it varies. So I work in restaurants where at the highest paid was making $28 an hour because it was a specialty position. But then you had prep was making $10.
Mm-hmm.
So it ranges. And then as far as once you get to management and salaried, that's when it get crazy. Because the most I saw a chef make 180.
80 grand.
No, 180 grand a year.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. That's the most. And I gave you the lowest. What I made was 32.
180 grand a year.
New York City.
Oh yeah.
So it depends on where you at, what's your position, your experience level, like all that comes into play. And I think I'm glad we do this because I didn't have anybody when I started. I ain't had nobody tell me like, "Oh, ask for more."
Yeah.
Like I didn't have that until they offered me the money. I signed it, and then the chef, the German chef, he was like, "You should ask for more," but he got hired probably like a couple weeks later. So I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "I'd have gave you 50." So I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "They're playing you because you want it so bad." So I was like, so then he broke it down to me. He was like, he didn't tell me how much he'd make, but he was like, people in my position with less experience make this. And it goes up and goes up and goes up. So it's money to be made. And then with TV and Instagram and all that, it's a waterfall of money. You just gotta go get it and figure out what you're worth.
No, that's absolutely. And I think people, and that's the biggest thing, because people in this industry, especially when you're just starting out,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to know what they're worth until
Hell
like
no.
years after they've been in it, because you're so excited to be in it. In the beginning, you're cool with taking scraps
For
because
sure.
it's like, all right, well, I'm here. But then it's like, wait a minute, like, I was talking to a chef about 4 or 5 days ago, and he makes a nice amount of money, and he didn't tell me his exact take home what he
Hmm.
makes, but he alluded to it. He said, "Listen, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I bring home, but he brings home more." He said, "I bring home more than 120, but less than 140."
Hmm.
And I said, "Okay, but you're still in a miraculous position."
Yeah,
And
that's
he said, "I am, but to the average person, if I was to describe everything that my job entails for me to get what I get, the average person would turn
it.
this job
They
down."
be like, it ain't even worth it.
And I'm like, "Well, what you mean?" I said, "Well, elaborate a little bit." And he said, everything that he does is elevated. There's no regular food.
For sure.
Everything's elevated.
Hmm.
He said, "I really don't have a staff. It's a lot of temps because that's how they save money. So I'm lucky if I get the same temps for each event. So if I don't get the same temps, I just have to learn very fast what each person can and cannot do.
Oh yeah, you
So
get
then
yeah.
I'm figuring it out on the fly. I'm busting my ass from the time I come in until the time I leave. I work so much that I don't get to spend any of the money that I make, with the exception of bills." He said, 2 years ago, I got divorced because my wife said I love my career more than I love her.
Oh yeah. Oof.
Now I'm on child support. So great. So, thank God I have this inflated salary because I can afford to still live and take care of my family that I really never see now. And I
Hmm.
said, well, you just made that shit just sound depressing.
Oh no, it is, bro. This industry is really depressing, and I hate that they glorify it instead of telling the truth. That's why I love The Bear, Burnt, the movie Chef with John Leguizamo and John Favreau.
Okay,
We
okay.
gotta talk. We gotta talk about that one too. They tell the truth. Like the story, the truth is way more compelling than the fantasy.
Right,
And I feel him because, like, if you think about it, when I was in New York, I lived around the corner from Times Square,
right.
and then New York never sleeps. So it was always something to do. My salary was my Philly salary, but I was getting what is it called?
Incentives?
Not incentives, per diem.
Okay.
But my per diem was New York per diem.
Ooh.
So it's just like, hey, this for food, this for anything like laundry, whatever. But I'm like, I'm going shopping.
Right.
And like I remember 2 o'clock in the morning, I went to go get a jacket because I didn't anticipate being there so long. So I'm walking around with a flight jacket. Like, yo, it's like 20 degrees.
Oh
But
yeah,
two
yeah.
o'clock in the morning, as soon as I get off work, go get me a jacket because everything was open. So yeah, it depends. The money situation always depends on where you work, what city you live in, and that plays a part. Me personally, if you're in it for the money, if you're solely in it for the money, go find a Michelin star restaurant, high end premium steakhouse. Get your money. You're gonna be miserable and you're gonna earn every red cent. But if you in it for the money, that's where you go.
So, quick question. Let's just
Hmm.
say, let's just say I wasn't in it, and I asked you, okay, you say Michelin star restaurant.
No, I would say, what is your goal? What do you want? That's the first question. What do you want? What do you want?
Now, what if I was to say, I don't know what I want to do. I know I just want to work around food. I want to be around food. I want to learn. But I need to make as much money as possible. Who makes more money? the
This is going to sound
cooks
insane.
or the servers or the
Servers
bartenders?
make way more. That's servers make way more. So way more. It's not even close.
And,
I
and do
my homie.
servers make way more
It's not
solely because of
close.
tips?
Yes, it's not close. You got to be able to handle dealing with people and their attitudes, good or bad, and you have to maintain the composure. I know a server, and that's my man. I could say this. He cleared 180.
In a year?
Cleared.
In a year?
Cleared it.
180?
Cleared it. No, 180 is the number. The 180 that I said the chef made.
Yeah.
The chef was in New York.
Yeah.
He cleared it here.
Oh, wow.
So if you really, really want money, maybe we should start the front of the house podcast so we can explain that side too. But
we can dedicate an episode
yeah,
to the front of the house.
I'll put a pin in that. But yeah, clear 180.
That's crazy.
He said, I was doing all right for myself, but I'm always fashion dude, whatever. But I connections. So I had something and he noticed it. And he said, I got one too. And I said, what you mean? And he had one on his wrist and one in his pocket. He said, I just got this today. The one in his pocket. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, this is my little gift for this year. I said, for this year, he said, in his thing, if I cleared this number, I go buy a watch.
That's a nice goal set for yourself.
It's not it was a goal for him until it's regular. It was regular. So like, and then with that too, you don't got to be a chef. You don't got to deal with this stuff. And yeah, you're going to earn the money from tips and like, but you can make a livable life. It's hard work. I don't want to let that go like unnoticed. It's hard work.
So let me ask you
make
this.
a good living.
Also, for somebody thinking about getting into this industry, everything we're talking about right now, back of the house, front of the house, so on and so forth, is this industry conducive to people that are in relationships and have families?
It can be. It can be. It depends on where you're working at.
And what your goal is?
Yeah. Because the most money I made in my career, I was working at a hotel.
Okay.
I got bonused every month. And that was the least amount of work I did and was in the building. You just got to find your sweet spot and what you're willing to tolerate. That place fell in my lap.
Got you.
And I was like, wait, what? I was like texting random people like, yo, just if you got something planned, do it here. I'm not going to say what the numbers were, but I bought anything sold that was edible, I made money on.
Got you.
So I don't care if it was a bag of cookies in the convenience store. Making money.
Right.
So, like when we talked about when I was going to Japan, oh yeah, I had a bag I was taking there.
Because that's when you was working there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. I remember.
So, yeah. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. Like, if you want to hit our email at the Food Jawn Podcast, if you got any questions, like we'll answer them for you.
Right.
But
or
the first question will be, what do you want? What do you want? Because that's what it boils down to. Because if you just was like, man, I sort of kind of want to work with food a little bit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and this is not an insult, but go work at McDonald's. They starting rate is $15. So, I mean, or you can go the hard route and make $10, but your longevity is something different.
See, as the longevity is way different. I just think people don't have the patience.
I don't.
I think people see all this stuff on social media and they want the overnight shit.
Instant
that
gratification.
doesn't really exist.
It depends on what's instant gratification to you. Because when I first started, they say you won't be exec for 10 years. I did in 4. To me, that was instant.
Yeah. Yeah, shit, yeah. Because you shaved off 6 years.
Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't even mature enough for it. But my work ethic was second to none.
Right.
So it was a balance.
Got you.
So that's good talk, man. You want to get into motivational?
Yeah, you can go first, though.
Um, it's kind of twofold.
Okay.
Count your blessings, and then count the ones you don't know.
Hmm.
The things you got, the ability to wake up in the morning, give thanks, roof over your head, whatever you have, whatever you're thankful for, like count those blessings. Count the ones that you don't see. Like you got an opportunity coming over the hill that you may not know is coming, but just be thankful for it.
Right.
I know my journey is over here. However it takes me for me to get there, count those blessings too.
Right.
So that's what I got, man.
Okay. That was dope.
Yeah, you know.
So for my motivational, I would say don't be so consumed with winning that you end up losing.
That's a bar.
Yeah, don't be so consumed with winning that you end up losing.
You talking to me right now, boy.
Oh man, that's crazy. No, because everybody wants to win.
For sure.
I don't know a single person that says, "I'm cool taking a loss." Everybody wants to win, but in trying to get to the finish line, you could end up self-sabotaging yourself along the way and then still end up losing. So sometimes it's all right to slow down, take certain things with a grain of salt, trust and believe you'll get there. Just don't go the janky route in trying to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because then when you get what you got coming, nobody wants to see the long face or hear the woe is me. So, listen, take your time. You're going to win.
For sure. We should have said this sooner, but we on YouTube at the Food Jawn Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, please, please, please. It helps out a lot. Patreon still up at the Food Jawn Podcast. We drop every Saturday.
Every
Every
Saturday.
Saturday, 9:00 in the morning. So while you're getting your weekend cleaning done, just pop it in, man.
Yep. And listen, you don't even have to watch if you're getting your clean on, because don't forget where it all started. We still on all the platforms. Your Audible, your Apple Music, your Spotify. Everywhere. So you if you ain't watching, you can listen. So it's no excuse.
Oh, there you go. All right. Once again, I'm your boy Mills.
I'm your man P.
I holla. Love, peace, and chicken grease.